Another Eswatini-based business with a strong focus on sustainable practices is the Vuvulane Food Market, a natural, open-air cafe using locally sourced ingredients in their menu, owned by artist and social entrepreneur Khulekani Msweli, who through the Vuvulane OVC Outreach Foundation has been serving hundreds of meals during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'm Khulekani Msweli. I'm a designer by training. I'm trained in fashion design and art. So I'm a designer and artist, and I live here in Vuvulane. Well, the Vuvulane Food Market, which you can see just behind us, is a concept which has now been running for a year. So we started in January 2019 as a concept of trying to bring healthy food to the public, but make it accessible, make it fresh, and try and offer as much as possible organic food to the public, whether locally living in Vuvulane or any tourist passing by. It's been an interesting journey, as you asked, in terms of how do I transition from being a designer and then now having a food space in the middle of nowhere by the side of the road in Vuvulane. So I think that was something which was going to happen at some point, where I believe what I do as a designer is something which speaks to my general lifestyle, where I'm always one of those people who's always advocating for a holistic way of life, which means healthy living. And even if you are the clothes I design, it's about making sure they are ethically sourced in terms of the materials. So it's about a holistic way of life. And it then culminated in having the food market as just another extension to my creative endeavors.
Vuvulane Food Market has received several praises locally and internationally. This eco-friendly space definitely speaks to Khulekani's creativity and out-of-the-box entrepreneurship drive. Khulekani is not new to the scene. He is the brains behind the famous design brand Jerem Paul that creates artisanal-led, handmade products in furniture and fashion. Khulekani's background in design definitely played a major role in him creating this amazing market project cafe.
Initially, choosing this specific spot here in Vuvulane firstly came across there was just a need of making sure that the space is free of crime. There was a lot of crime because it's a space which is right next to the road and right next to our main bus stop. And you'd find there are a lot of people who are coming off the bus at night, and there were certain incidents which were happening in terms of rape and things like that. So I then thought it would be great to just make the space a more positive space. So the one thing which could involve in terms of turning it into a business, but also a social enterprise where we can offer a few basic jobs and great food for the public, and also introduce organic vegetable growing, and also introduce a different approach to how you can build your space from nothing.
From the moment you walk in, you are captured by the artistic and all-natural design space with handmade furniture and vintage style. Eco-friendly efforts are gaining momentum as more people realize that protecting the earth is important. Vuvulane Food Market has created green strategies into this market cafe in the effort to create a healthy and sustainable environment.
In terms of the building and the style in which we've used or have designed the food market around, mainly it was about the whole concept of eco-building, which I'm one person who really advocates greatly about sustainability in everything I do. So even when coming up with the design for the market, for the Vuvulane Food Market, it had to be something really affordable without spending a lot of capital heavy in terms of assets and how to build it. So the easiest way and the most environmentally friendly way was a matter of trying to salvage old materials like old pallet crates, which we dismantled to create the counter, and we used to create the backdrop of the food market. And then even with some of the rafters around the building, that we had to use. There's an invasive species which is about 200 meters from where we are, where we just had to cut off those growing plants to use as a form of shading for the area. So yeah, so most of it is based on the whole concept of taking old unused material and making it new, and trying our best to make sure that we don't have a large carbon footprint.
Khulekani believes in self-sufficiency and rural development through entrepreneurship. He says it's all about restoring our dignity as rural dwellers by supporting Vuvulane farmers. This is why they source their ingredients locally by supporting local farmers and businesses in Vuvulane.
So the meals which we offer here at the Vuvulane Food Market are based on simplicity. So we always say it's about simple, good food, which is affordable, yet using organic ingredients. So most of our meals, we have our chicken open sandwich, and we have our chicken fried rices and salads. So also with vegetarian options in our salads. But mainly we have a small organic garden just on the site, where we grow our herbs, which we use as garnishes in the meals and use as salads within the meals. So that way it's always making sure that the food that we offer here is very fresh and is organic. We don't use any forms of pesticides to it, but we follow permaculture principles in how we try and grow our food.
Vuvulane Food Market uses items that are sourced locally and produced organically. Their fruits are from the nearest farmers market. Their herbs are grown right at the cafe, and you will enjoy outstanding flavor along with a smaller footprint on the earth.
Ever since we started, in terms of our target market or target audience, or bantu labangeta to our space, we've always thought it's the general community who are coming to the bus stop. That was the first point of reference, to say we'll try and offer something, a muffin, a drink, to someone who's coming to wait for the bus. And also because it's a busy road which feeds our main South African border, which is Mananga border. We tend to have quite a lot of cross-border travelers who stop by and have a coffee and have a sandwich. So I'd say it's the tourist who is just crossing by in the area and needing something, a place to just stop by and relax and have a coffee and have something to eat. And also the locals, even the folk who are working in the nearby sugar mill, they sometimes come here for their lunches during the week. So it's a variety of people, but mainly it's all sorts. People coming to stop for the bus, a person passing by, and those that are curious, just seeing something a little bit different on the road and then coming to have a conversation. Yes, we do have challenges now and again. At first you find, because it's an open structure, when it's heavy rains, you find maybe you won't have the comfort of just sitting on our garden chairs. We all have to huddle in this sheltered space. And also, yes, because it's near the roads, you'll find we'll have petty break-ins. People may be trying to see if we have extreme treasures, which they don't find any. So you might find maybe one pot stolen now and again, which is not a major issue on our side, but it's a challenge that's there because we are in a community which is, to an extent, highly impoverished. So you find you will have petty crime now and again, but we are trying to make sure that people find it as a place for the community to engage and share conversations.